STP. Hello guys and welcome to today's STPL. My name is Kix, and if you're joining me for the first time, this is the Shinhan Tank Pro League. It's a team league that's been running now for 3 years. We've had a lot of really good games, we've had a lot of really good teams, and basically we have had a pretty good tournament so far. We've got 6 brand new maps that the players have been getting used to, as well as 2 maps from previous seasons. The new maps are Blindside, Charmander, Desert Dwellers, Paradise, Rosen Bridge, and Tier of Goddess. Now, we are going to be heading in to our first set of games in just a moment, but just to go through the format, best of 5 all the way through, set 1 to 4, all the lineups are selected in advance, and all the games are played at the same time. And the ace match in set 5, if you go 2 to 2, means anyone can play again. So overall, I would say that we've had a good tournament so far. Let's introduce our 2 teams for today. We're only going to have a single match today. but it should be a good one from what I can tell. So let's head on over, introduce our first team. It is going to be DM. Now, DM historically haven't done the best in the STPL, but they haven't done the worst either. They've added a lot of good players recently, like Sandara and Whip. He joined them at the end of Season 3. They've also added JDConan, who used to be on Bull, but essentially he hadn't actually played... I don't think he played any games in Season 3. If he did, it means I've got the wrong name for the player, but it doesn't really matter. He was on Bull. Bull isn't there anymore. I've just noticed something that I need to fix as well, but their opponents going to be fighting from the other, well, from a similar side of the world. We're going to have NaS. NaS mainly an American team, a North American team with a couple of South American players, and of course dsaqwe in Croatia. Now, NaS have beaten DM all 3 times they've played previously. So that is an important distinction to make. But can DM, much like Ash did last week, get a cheeky win over NaS here? NaS are missing some of the better players like Terra and Eon Zerg this week, so they are going to be going with... I mean, it's still a very strong roster, but it's not their absolute tip-top best. So let's see how it's going to go, because we're going to have 4 really, really cool lineups today. We've got JDConan versus Kingdom in a ZVP on Rosen Bridge. We're going to have Sandara versus Dragon in a PvZ on Desert Dwellers. God damn it, what is with these race pickers? It's a PvZ, not a PvP. We've got Whip versus dsaqwe on Neo Moon Glaive. And then we're going to have Pre versus StRyKeR on Paradise. So we've got 3 ZVPs and 1 PvT. No mirrors today. No mirrors today on Takeshi's Castle, but we will have a lot of Protoss, a lot of Zerg, and is there anything more STPL than that? Because we have that a lot. So PvZ, it's a fun matchup. I guess I'll be able to test out my casting chops by doing a lot of PvZ today, but let's have a look. So starting us off here, we are going to have Conan for DM. He's a brand new player. Not really anything I can say about him, because I think he may have played for Bull in the past, but essentially... I've either not linked the 2 accounts together, or he didn't actually play, but he was on the, he was on, what's it called? He was on Bull in Season 2 and 3. He was on the roster, I don't think he played. But his opponent going to be fighting for NaS is going to be Kingdom. Now, Kingdom hasn't had the best win ratio overall against Protoss especially. That's definitely been pulling his win rate down a little bit, but... he is doing okay against Zerg. He's only played 5 games. He's won 2 of those 5, which is pretty good to start us off. And Kingdom, always a fun player to watch. So let's have a look at the map we're going to be going into. This is definitely the weirdest map I think we'll ever have. We ever have had and will ever have in the STPL. It's led some really good games so far. We've had... surprisingly a lot of Zerg play on this map. I've had so many people tell me over and over and over again that essentially this map is trash for Zerg, but teams keep sending Zerg players out on it for some reason. Zerg haven't actually won in a PvZ so far. Can they win in this one? We'll have to find out as we get into it. It's game number 1. It's Kingdom versus Conan. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand corner on the mainland, we do have the red Protoss player fighting for NaS. It's Kingdom. And his opponent spawning up here in the top right-hand corner on an island. It's going to be Conan fighting for DM. In chat, some Asker is asking if Castamuse is a real Castamuse, which he is. And then Castamuse says, Kix is one of my good friends, which I'm really happy to hear, but he is lazy. Damn it, Castamuse. I'm very lazy. The good thing is, though, everything I've noticed this season I've fixed. Now, Kingdom is playing this kind of how I'm not expecting people to play and how people have told me. He's gonna scout very early on the land when he doesn't need to. I mean, I guess it does give him the option of just going for a 12 next. I think he'll probably do that anyway. No, he's going to go for a gateway in his main. So the one thing I've learned about this map and what I've heard from players is when you're on the mainland, given the fact you have a 33% chance your opponent is on the mainland with you, it's better to just play as if you're on the island, because by playing as if you're against someone on the mainland, you're giving yourself a disadvantage. Now, I guess one thing that could be said about that is if you give yourself a disadvantage as the mainland player, that gets offset later on when it becomes a little bit harder for the island player to get off the island. Custom use. I added all that stuff. You can't call me out for that now. I think I did that now. Okay, we've got a core coming up. Now, Kingdom could obviously play and go for like a one-base Reaver. We've seen that a couple of times, mainly in PvP though, but it definitely is a good choice. Yeah, the weaker Liquipedia page is something that, I mean, I could set up, but I'm not very good with Liquipedia. So if anyone wants to do that, they can. Now, Conan is going for a very quick 3 hatch before pull. This is something that allows him to get 3 gases very, very fast. So it's kind of giving him a massive head start on the economy. And now the one bonus the island player has is they have 3 gases readily available, whereas the mainland, their gas is blocked off. Well, it's kind of blocked off, but it's kind of far away. We've got the Stargate coming in straight away, I guess. Kingdom's kind of playing this how a lot of Protoss players played on Sparkle, where he's going for 1 base Corsair. He's going to use it to check for any like 1 base muteless play, which can happen. Best lost to that in the ASL, and it was very, very sad. But we've got 4 hatch before pull for Conan, so Conan is playing this incredibly greedy. I imagine we're going to see a lot of drones coming up, but by playing so greedy, the first Corsair is going to be able to kill every single Overlord, so Conan is going to be supply blocked for a while. Now Conan checking both directions here. Now Conan is not going to scout his opponent until the very last second either, so that's a bonus for Kingdom. Okay, we've got +1 weapons coming in for the Corsairs. This is going to help them out considerably with killing the Overlords. Also deals with any Spire shenanigans as well. We've got the Hydralisk Den coming in for Conan, and things are looking pretty sweet over here for Conan, I guess. Now, this is going to be a common theme for at least the next minute or so until the first Hydralisks start to pop. Overlords will be popping themselves into a cloud of blood. Just like that. Now, we've got Conan expanding, using the Hive and the Creep to his advantage. Now, other races cannot do this. It's one of the ways to make the island a little bit better for Zerg, because it gives them a free 3rd gas. And it stops Zerg and it stops Protoss and Terran from being able to expand super quickly. Now, Kingdom doing a pretty good job making sure not to lose any of his Corsairs. Will get a second Overlord. This will supply Conan, but now he needs to fly away. So that's exactly what he's going to do. Not losing too much health on the Corsairs. Very, very important. Now we've got Kingdom going for a Forge. He's had a scout off on the main, so he knows exactly what's going on. He is going to expand. It is a quite late expansion, but he did tech up super fast. So he is playing from a little bit of a disadvantage, but if he can do any form of harassment damage, he should still be in a pretty good spot. Conan, of course, going to be unable to leave his island until he gets Hive or until he gets Overlord drops. So he can't really do any counter damage. I mean, he could go for a Spire, but that's a little bit risky when you know your opponent is already going for Mass Corsair. Now, Conan does see the probes transferring, but he cannot be sure whether that's to the natural or the other base. He didn't actually check the natural beforehand. Now, there's 4 Corsairs out already. The 5th one is just finishing up. Kingdom definitely getting in a good position, do a lot of damage to the Overlords once again. Customers, if the stream is laggy, you may want to try the stream on YouTube as well. That may lag a little bit less for you. Here we go, Overlords pop so quickly against 5 Corsairs, but he doesn't kill it. He should just shoot it. Oh my god, he doesn't kill it. That is incredibly unlucky. That is very unfortunate. He should go back and kill that 100%. There is absolutely no reason to leave that alive. Okay, we've got 6 Corsairs now. The Corsairs essentially mean that Conan cannot drop off of his island. I think that's why Kingdom is going for it. The only way you can get out of the island as Zerg is to either use a Nidus, which he has to go for Hive for, or you go for Overlord drops. But if you have a million Corsairs and you use them properly, Zerg won't ever be able to leave their island. So while they get 4 base super easily, they're not going to be able to expand again. Now the Hives are there to help Zerg build Niduses on the other island and stuff like that. It's not the end of the world. Looks like Kingdom sending a probe down to the bottom right. Kingdom losing a couple of his Corsairs. Definitely a little bit of a mistake there. You don't want to be doing that. They are very important units. But Kingdom could be looking to take a very quick third down here in the bottom right. Now we do have Reavers coming in, so it's going to be Corsair Reaver for Kingdom for the time being. Second Robo being added on as well. This gives him the option of going for a lot of shuttles to do a lot of damage. I think Arbiters would be pretty good on here on this map against Zerg as well, because doing a recall at one of these outer bases makes it very difficult for Zerg to actually come back through these paths and expand, especially against, and sort of defend. And just to confirm to everyone who may be watching on YouTube or watching the VOD on YouTube as well, Castermuse just said violence is necessary sometimes to move a lazy person like Kicks. Violence is mean. Don't hit me. Castermuse is bullying me. I'm gonna cry. Oh man. It's all good though. So we've got the Corsairs coming in once again. He does scout the Queen's Nest. This is a very important scout because one of the things to note is Corsairs are incredibly good against Overlord drops, but Corsairs suck against Ensnare. Ensnare is so good against Corsairs because they're always grouped up, they move incredibly slowly, and then Scourge can just come in and destroy them, as well as Devourers. Devourers very good against Corsairs as well. Like, when you put it, like, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, Devourers late game feel like the best anti-air unit in the game. The only thing they kind of suck against is Carriers, but all of the other anti-air units don't really, like, all the other splash anti-air units, such as Valkyries and Corsairs, don't do that much damage to them. And they obviously have the Acid Spores that stacks up, and means the other units do more damage to them, so it's a very good move. Now, we do have the Hive coming in. As I mentioned before, Hive going to be very important. We've actually got a second layer coming in. This will be for the Overlord upgrades, most likely. He'll go for Overlord Speed and Overlord Drop at the same time, most likely. Now, one interesting thing about the way this map works is if Zerg parks an Overlord here and builds a Nidus here, and the Protoss player doesn't see it coming, then that can be a little bit dangerous. Now, we do have a first Reaver being dropped. Doesn't do any damage whatsoever. Not a single Scarab fired. Very nice use of the Sunken there. Forces those shuttles back. Now, if a Zerg player builds a Nidus here, they have a staging ground to attack with mass ground against a player who is going Corsair Reaver. He's actually going to go into Carriers, most likely. Disruption Web coming up. That's going to allow him to sort of nullify some of the Hydralisks when he drops his Reavers. Pound for pound in that thing refer to weight. I thought it was money. Lucky Noob asleep at the wheel, letting some guy spam the chat, offering money to people, buying followers. I don't know, you just can't get the staff these days. Okay, we do have an expansion coming up on the other island for Kingdom, so if anything, this game is looking like it could be really, really cool. Now, the fun thing that Conan could do is if he uses his Scourge... Has he got his Nidus yet? No, he's gone for Defiler Mound first. Where is his Nidus? If he... Oh, he's got one. Nidus Canal. If he Nidus... Yeah, he's doing it. He's going to take the other island, and Kingdom has no way of coming back to defend this. None of his air units shoot down. And that's going to be cool, because Conan is going to be able to take both islands. And all he's going to have to do is turtle to stay on 8 bases. Now, the Hive has been killed, and a hatchery is going down on top of it. Overlord drops coming in. Overlord speed will be coming here. This is actually Overlord's sight range, if I remember correctly. He must have already got Overlord speed. Is that Overlord's sight range? I think it is, right? Yeah, Rheinmetall. I am a native English speaker, but even I don't know what that actually means. But here we go. Nice. Nice Reaver usage here. Does manage to get a couple of disruption webs out. Stops the assimilator from firing, which was a little bit of a misplace there, but still does get out with both of his Reavers. Does do a little bit of damage to the drone line. Kills a few Hydras as well. We can already see the Nidus coming in. Massive, massive help here. Going to send a lot of Hydras over and take out this extra base from Kingdom. Now, Kingdom's only choice here is to take the other part of the mainland, which means we are going to go into a super late game situation, most likely, with one player trying to attack the island and one player defending them. And we'll have to see how that's actually going to play out, because we've not had a super late game on this map before. I am really excited to see how it's going to go, but here we go. The Hydra's coming into the other base. The probes just being dropped off. One poor little probe being left behind to die, along with one that was just built as well, but he's actually going to leave the Nexus alive. This is kind of funny. He's not even going to bother killing the Nexus. He wants to try and go back. The Nidus has been shot down. Oh, that's why he went to go back, but probe goes down. Looks like obviously, with no more probes here, he's going to have to shuttle some more over, but that's the end of that rush. There we go. So that actually changed exactly what it changed. It changed everything about what I thought was going to happen. Yeah, we can see that Overlord speed is done. He's actually going to Overlord over some drones. He's not even going to try and go for any form of Nidus again. He's just going to go with some drones, try and build some hatcheries down in the bottom right, but little does he know. Oh, is he going to fly to the other island? Or is... Oh, no, he's going to try and take the other main. But Kingdom's already there. Now, we do have those Hydras here. This will give him the ability to build his Nidus again, if he so chooses to. The Nidus is rebuilding another one, so he is going to be able to do that. The drones have been picked up and dropped again. Funnily enough, there's still nothing that can shoot down here, but here we go. Looks like we do have the Corsairs coming in to help defend against the Reavers. One of the shuttles does go down immediately. The Reaver's not actually doing that much. He does have the damage upgrade though, so they will be able to deal with this pretty well. But 2 of the Reavers are already dead. And that's the main source of damage for this attack. There's nothing else that can shoot down. Now looks like the disruption web's coming in, but unfortunately for Kingdom, he's not able to save his Reaver. He loses one of his shuttles. He does still have 2 Reavers alive, which is good. But this is definitely weird. But Kingdom taking the other main base. He's shuttled off his probes that he was trying to take over from earlier. We still don't have that additional Nidus coming in. I really think he should Nidus here, because if he Niduses here, then he can do a lot of damage. We've got another shuttle coming in with 2 Reavers, trying to go into the main. Kingdom in a position to defend... Sorry, Conan in a position to defend this already. Oh, and the shuttle gets taken down. That's a little bit of a misplay by Kingdom over here. But I like the drone just running around. He's going to drop a Reaver off, and the Reaver's too slow to catch the drone. Oh my goodness. Oh, he burrowed it. That is kind of funny. If he burrows this as well, he's got vision to build a Nidus whenever he wants. Is it... There we go, burrow again. We've got a hatchery coming in here. This is definitely a risky hatchery. I don't think this is going to survive. But a very, very good play. We've got the Nidus coming in. We've got a lot... Oh, I love this play. As long as he unburrows them at the right time, he can snipe any shuttles coming towards him, and that will be incredibly important. It allows him to get the hatchery over here. Kingdom is trying to expand down here again as well. So we're going to have both players fighting over the island. Kingdom obviously going to have more trouble getting to the island than Conan will, which is something I didn't think I'd be saying in this game, but that is the power of Nidus's. We've got another drone hidden down here in the bottom right that will see the Nexus coming up. And another drone coming in to maybe take the third base here. I'm not sure if that's going to work. Here we go. Looks like some of the Hydras getting in position to help to try and defend this. They're not burrowed just yet. But we have... oh, this is actually an empty shuttle. He needs his other shuttle. I like how there's a drone watching all of this as well. Drone's just like, yeah, this is kind of chill. There's a Corsair sitting on top of the drone as well to make sure it doesn't do anything. Another hatchery being added on. He really should add another couple of Niduses. But looks like the Hydra is going to come down here, kill this base once again. And Kingdom is only just now taking his third base. It's 16, oh sorry, fourth base. It's 16 minutes into the game. He does have the other main, but he's only just now taking his mineral only. And he really should look at expanding to this location, because if he can defend that, that would be very strong. But here we go, looks like the Reaver's going to try and come in here to try and deal with this, but they're actually getting a little bit too close to the Hydras. Two of those shuttle, or one of the shuttle with two of the Reavers goes down almost immediately. And Kingdom is finding it really hard to find a break in the armor here for Conan. Now here we're finally starting to see those Defilers come into play. Defiler's obviously very strong. He's lifting up the... oh, he's lifting them into... wait, he's lifting something into Overlords. Oh no, he's sending drones through the Nidus. Okay. I was like, he's lifting stuff into Niduses here, but... into Overlords, but couldn't find them. He really does need to kill this Nidus though. Like, if he can kill this Nidus, it stops the Zerg having any presence anywhere other than his own base. You can already see where Conan has been defending so hard, his money is going really high, because he just hasn't really had the ability to spend his money. He's building a lot of Hydras, they're quite cheap. He's not really losing them because he's only sending them to engagements that he knows he can win. And Kingdom is definitely looking like he could be in a little bit of trouble here, which kind of goes against what I think a lot of people would believe. They would think the person on the mainland wouldn't lose. That's one of the things I've heard. If the island player can get the other island like Conan has now, it's going to be really hard for Kingdom to do anything. Now we do have a probe coming out here. He will need to kill the Hive. That is one of the bonuses of this base for a Zerg player. There's the added Hive there, which stops your opponents from expanding there. Interestingly, I would think that Kingdom should probably expand to this base instead for the time being, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He should at least attack the Hive, but there we go. Looks like we're going to have another drop coming in here. Nice D-Webs coming in. There's already a Sunken coming up though. The Reavers in a good position, but there's no more D-Web for some reason. But look at the amount of destruction coming in. Oh my goodness. Now, Lings coming in. They are going to be able to attack, and the Sunken finishes... oh, and Plague on the shuttles as well. That's going to do a lot of damage. Makes the shuttles so much easier to be able to snipe here. Now, Kingdom currently on 72 workers. One of his bases is mined out, and he's got all of his probes sat here. His main base is kind of mined out as well, but this is what we've been waiting for. This is the great big equalizer here for Protoss, because all of a sudden you have 3 units that are incredibly powerful, 5 if you bring the 2 back from home. And how does Zerg deal with this? That is the question. Queens within Snare are very good. Plague is very good against carriers as well, and so is Scourge. And if he can defend his carriers properly, he should be in a very, very good position. Looks like the probes getting sent down here, but look at this, a Nidus in the 6 o'clock location, going to allow Conan to be able to go into the middle of the map. This is exactly where Kingdom does not want his opponent to be. Cannons coming in just at the worst possible time. They are all going to be cancelled most likely, even by 2 Hydras. Hydras are pretty good units. We do have a drop in the bottom left, going to be able to take down this base if he wants to, but he is going to have to worry about the base he's about to lose. Kingdom going to find himself on very low numbers of bases here. The carriers are on the furthest part away from this. But this is the sort of time where these carriers need to go for a counterattack. If he can kill the other mining base of Zerg while all of the units are on the other side of the map, then he is going to be in an okay position. Look how fast Plague decimates cannons as well. It's almost unfair, but the Defiler Not going to put a Dark Swarm down for some reason, so these Hydras will die to the cannons. Here we go, the carrier's going to be coming in. We did have a Plague on the Corsairs, but not on the carriers. A nice bait using the Corsairs here. But obviously, Disruption Web, a very good spell, does stop the carriers from being able to do any damage to the Hydras. But he could de-web underneath the Swarm as well, and that would save him. Looks like a Reaver going to come out here from this Robo. Nicely placed Robo here, going to be able to save this base in the bottom right. Looks like the carriers were a little bit too worried to push in. He really should just de-web under all the Swarm. Because if he de-webs under the Swarm, he's got enough energy to do it. And Conan's not going to be able to do anything. But looks like he wants to meet up with his Reavers. He is going to go in and try and go for the Nidus. So he does kill the Nidus, but loses a carrier in the process. That is definitely not what you want to happen. There's a drone still here as well, so he is going to be able to build another Nidus. Should really look to kill that Hive if he can. But the trouble is, by going with the carriers now to the bottom left, all Conan is going to do is flood workers through here, flood Hydras, and expand to this base even stronger. But the hatchery goes down, the drones go down as well. Here comes the Reavers. The Reavers going to have to lead the charge. There are 4 Reavers down here in the bottom left, so he should look to do something with them. Looks like we did have a shuttle go down from the bottom, which is a little bit unfortunate. But it happens. Now looks like the units from before are now going to move up to the top to try and clear out Kingdom's possible expansion. The cannons not going to really be too much help here. They are going to do a little bit of damage. But once again, Kingdom is kind of being baited around by the Zerg's unit movement. And that makes things very, very difficult for him because he has to expand. But we have to remember that this is a good part way into the game now. We're 23 minutes in. And the Zerg player is actually starting to mine out. The main is almost dry. The natural is almost dry. The third base is almost dry. And so is the fourth. The fourth is a little bit healthier. But here we go. Looks like he is going to be coming in here. The shuttles have dropped off all the Reavers. He's not de-webbing though. But looks like he is going to be able to de-web there. If he kills the Nidus, this base is going to die. There are some more Hydras down here. But they're not going to be much help whatsoever against those Reavers. Looks like he's focusing down the hatchery. He wants to try and kill all of the possible units that can spawn from here. Now, of course, this doesn't help Kingdom that much. He does kind of starve out his opponent a little bit, but his opponent still has a chance of getting back on the mainland, and that is the problem. Now, he really should, once he's killed these Hydras, look to kill that Hive to stop any possible Nidus play coming in. And I wonder if that's what he's going to do. Looks like the this drone under the Swarm is the luckiest drone in the world. We've got more units coming in from Conan, though, from the top. He is going to be able to take down this base, which has been Kingdom is going to be completely mined out in the top left-hand corner. He does still have his bottom right-hand base. He is trying to expand down here. A drone is killing a pylon right now. Looks like the Hive is going to be left alive for the time being, but really should focus that down given the fact the Nidus play has been so strong. Some of the Hydras trying to move back to defend against the base, but he's going to leave the Hive alive again. I almost feel like that's a big mistake. You just want to kill the... Oh, looks like his base did go down there. 2 of the High Templar going to merge together to form an Archon. That will save them, but we've got another huge plague going down on the carriers. Oh my god. But they're all plagued already, so 1 health on every single one of these carriers means they are in a very damaged state. They cannot afford to take any damage whatsoever. 1 Scourge can nearly kill a carrier at this point, and that is not what you want happening. As a Protoss player, most of the Corsairs are now dead. And even a Muteless switch here from Conan would be good. But Conan is low on gas, high on minerals, where he's not really been spending his minerals too much. And he is starting to head into Mutalisks, but there's not many of them. But if he can get in and get some sick engagements off on the carriers, this could be pretty good. If you get an ensnare off on this, that will be impossible to save the carriers, I'm fairly certain. Here we go. Looks like the... Whoa, the Scourge coming in on the carriers. 2 of them go down. Where was the Archon? 3 carriers falling right there. And this is units the Kingdom cannot afford to rebuild. This is basically his army right now. He does have a lot of Reavers in the bottom right. He's still got some Reavers over here. This will block any possible Niduses coming up. I think he tried to build a Nidus there. Now, Jinkola asks, why carriers? The reason why you would go carriers as Protoss here is because it gives you a sieging unit that can siege the island from the mainland. Otherwise, you have to either recall in, which is risky when the Zerg can have all their units there, or you have to worry about something else. Now, it looks like he has sniffed out this base in the bottom right. He's going to send all of his Reavers down there to kill it, but of course he has no minerals that he can use to rebuild the Scarabs. I mean, he absolutely decimates the hatchery. Okay, looks like we do have a big Overlord drop of Hydras. Looks like he didn't want to deal with the Nidus play anymore. But there we go. As soon as the... Oh my god, as soon as Kingdom leaves, a Nidus comes up. Oh my goodness, so many Niduses. This is why if he just kills the Hive, Conan can't do this. And the thing is, this Nidus is blocking a hatchery. So he can't expand here. He's just going to use this to attack. And doing that is perfectly fine, because at the end of the day, he's got the other island still. He's managed to build a Nidus up here. He's building a lot of static defense. He's got so much money, he can flood drones. But Conan has gone from like 60 drones to 39, where he's just been building so much. But the Nidus has started coming out with units now. A drone being pulled over here, going to realize he can't expand. A little bit unfortunate for him. Hydra's in a position to try and stop Kingdom from being able to expand up there. Kingdom's still only on essentially... He's on about 2 bases now. He's got 2, or a mineral base and 2 gas bases, but he's not mining from the gas just yet, so that's not too important. He's got actually quite a big gas bank, where he's gone carriers and Reavers, means he's spending a lot on minerals. A lot of minerals on Reavers, on Scarabs and Interceptors, but here we go. Looks like he's seen the base in the bottom left. He's going to pull back with his Reavers. Oh my god, we're going to have a single Defiler. Oh, doesn't do anything. The Lings don't get into position fast enough. He doesn't get another thingy off either, another Plague, so that's good for our Protoss player. He killed his Nidus because he can't expand. That's kind of funny. He needs to build another Nidus now, though. Like, and he's done this when he has a drone here already. That's what makes me laugh about this. Looks like the carrier is going to come over here to the bottom left-hand side. There's still a Hydra here. Like, this Hydra, does he even have observers? He does have he has an observatory, but I don't think I've seen a single observer with his army. Where are they? Did he just never build any? He never built an observer. Okay, it looks like we do have a disruption wave going down on top of those spore colonies. Units under, buildings underneath Dark Swarm are not protected, so neither are static defense. And that means that these units will be going down here. Looks like all of the drones running under the swarm, because that is the one bit of respite they've got from the carrier damage. Now, if he burrows them, Kingdom has no way of seeing them, so he really should just burrow the drones. Like, he doesn't know there's no observer here, but we do. Now, somehow... Oh, okay, there's a Defiler under here killing all of the drones. The Defiler ate all of his drones. They could have just burrowed. There we go. Looks like some Hydras. 4 Hydras getting under Dark Swarm is enough to push away 8 carriers. Because that seems perfectly balanced. Yeah, this base is down in the bottom left again. Now we only have a single mining base for Conan. That is, in fact, a mineral only. He has to expand again. He is struggling to get those bases up. He keeps building bases in the bottom left, but not defending them properly. Like, he needs more units, and he needs more defense. Like, he can't just sit there and play pop-up Zerg all day. He has to make something happen. He's down to 23 drones, and he's on 140 supply. He has 120 supply worth of units right now, which is ridiculous for a Zerg player. But looks like the base down here has been taken out. Kingdom back to one mining base now, because the bottom right-hand base is mining out. Looks like he wants to expand here, but because he's got no overlord, no observer, he can't kill the single drone. Oh my goodness, looks like disruption web going down on the Hydras. One of the carriers actually taking damage. It's gonna go down. The shields are all gone. But there's a lot of carriers now. One carrier does fall. Definitely doesn't want to be losing any more than this. 2 carriers fall, 3 carriers fall. Oh my god, he's gonna lose a 4th carrier to like 5 Hydras. Carriers are pretty damn good. Yeah, carriers are pretty strong units, but not against Hydras when they have no health. Looks like the Corsair is going to go down to the bottom right. A lot of them have used up all their energy. Some do have enough, or just barely don't have enough for disruption web. But look at this, all the Scourge coming in. There's absolutely nothing can help defend against the carriers. So another carrier goes down. Kingdom hemorrhaging units a little bit here. And that is definitely not what you want happening. But this is Conan's last base. Where are the units? I think the units are having trouble coming out of the Nidus. There's so many units over here. He really should swarm. Oh my god, more Scourge coming in actually at the back here. Going to be doing a lot of damage to the carriers. Once again, we've got Reavers. High Templar actually coming in shuttles to try and help defend against this. Corsair's going to take out some of those Overlords. But Burrow, once again, going to prove that if you don't have any form of detection, you're going to lose it. Now, he does lose one of his Reavers from one of the shuttles. That's a little bit unfortunate. But still not doing terribly. Kingdom going to be able to expand here eventually as soon as a cannon finishes. More Scourge coming in though. Another carrier goes down. I think Kingdom needs to switch into doing something else or take the middle base or something. Like, Kingdom's carriers, they're just not super effective against mass Scourge. And he doesn't have many Corsairs, and nor can he afford them right now. Now, for whatever reason, the Lings decide to unburrow themselves, so I guess he's going to deal with that way. Oh my god, that Scarab. How did that go off? Looks like we are going to have a Plague coming in once again. More and more Scourge coming in. Another carrier is... okay, the carriers are fine. Swarm coming in over here. This is a lot of units that he cannot attack if they're under Swarm. One Swarm gonna miss. We do have a Reaver, which is gonna help. Storm is gonna hit the Interceptors, so he does need to be careful with that. Doesn't have many minerals. He's gonna expand again to his 3rd base, which is still very healthy given the circumstances, given he took it so late as well. We do have Reavers and an Archon down here defending this base, which is good. We're gonna have a lot of cannons coming in. And the carriers are going to try and go down to the bottom left-hand corner, but they are going with absolutely no cover whatsoever. The Scourge are going to be going the other way. There are a lot of Corsairs coming back in. The Corsairs are very, very important. He cannot afford to lose them. 2 Scourge, loses 2 already. He is going to be able to get back to the cannons with the other ones. But this means the carriers have nothing defending them at the moment. So if Conan can see this, if he can fly in and get these carriers, he is going to be in an incredible position. Now, we went from having no observers as Protoss to having 3 in the same place, so that's not too bad. It's not really like he needs the observers anywhere else right now, but you definitely want to make sure you've got some with your units and with your carriers as well, because it gives you the extra sight range against the Scourge coming into you. Oh my goodness. Okay, this was a mistake. This was a big mistake. Just walking High Templar through the middle of the map like that. That ain't gonna work. Like, I don't know. I don't know about that one. But he should definitely storm with these before he loses them. Okay, he does storm with them, but unfortunately will lose them again. The carrier's coming in here to the bottom left. One of the carriers actually taking damage from one of the spores. Does need to micro just a little bit better. Wants to make sure he doesn't lose any of these. We do, of course, have Corsairs up again. We've got another 4th and 5th base attempt coming down in the bottom left-hand corner. So the carriers should be able to deal with this if they can survive. We have no swarm coming in just yet by the Defiler. Here we go. One of the carriers goes down to another Scourge. The base is under fire, so the hatchery is going to go down. But if the Nidus can stay alive, then he is still going to be in an okay spot. The carrier is very, very low on health as per the plague. And looks like another carrier goes down. The carrier number is dwindling here. And this is going to cause a lot of problems. He has to kill the bottom left-hand base. There's another Nidus back over here. We've got another hatchery from the drone that was hidden here before. And 36 minutes into the game, we still have Kingdom on a pretty low economy. He's only on essentially 2 bases again. We've got another Plague coming in on the cannons. Plague, you need feedback. I think you need feedback in this situation. Yeah, but carriers are definitely losing the war of attrition down here in the bottom middle. There are still 4 of them. They are going to be able to take down this base again. But he needs to kill the Defiler. The Defiler, very important to kill, but doesn't kill it. The Hydra's going to get under the Swarm again. And that means suddenly, wait, why doesn't he just Disruption Web? Disruption Web under the Swarm. Now, it's easy enough for me to say that because I am the omnipotent observer. And when you're in a game like this, it's so unbelievably stressful that I'm not surprised Kingdom is forgetting to do things. But yeah, you could drop Reavers there as well. That would be another good play to do. But he did lose a lot of shuttles earlier. He's not got many minerals to replace them either. And there's a lot of Scourge running around. So he has to be careful. It looks like a lot of the carriers did lose the ability to send out all of their interceptors straight away, so that was a little bit of a mistake as well. Need to micro those a little bit harder, but this isn't Stalk, this isn't the carrier commander, it is Kingdom. He's doing a damn good job of microing his carriers so far, but he's in a bit of trouble here. Zerg have been powering up pretty hard. Another base is going to go down here. A great flank by the Hydras on 3 of the Reavers. Going to take those down. They're not going to be able to survive for very much longer. We've got Scourge trying to come in. There's only 3 carriers remaining. Looks like one of the carriers did go down. Another carrier is in a lot of trouble here. Looks like Scourge coming in gets another one. Kaboom! 2 carriers dead. 2 remain. And another base attempt by Kingdom being taken down. Conan playing the all-important investment banker Zerg, so he is not having any problems whatsoever. But while this was going on, Kingdom has been rebuilding his carrier count in the top left. He has maybe faked Conan into thinking he's not going carriers again. This is where all of his money was going, and all of a sudden Conan has very little defending the bottom left-hand corner. There's a Nidus, there's a single Defiler, but there's nothing that can stand up against the carriers. Okay, this base is still alive. These units and these carriers, or these cannons, have been plagued so many times at this point. Oh my god, there was a big Reaver drop down here in the bottom left. Conan is down to 14 drones. He's got a lot of money in the bank, but a single Dragoon is going to stop this base. Which is kind of crazy. This has been an insane game with 39 minutes in. He's still not killed the Hive. But another carrier goes down. Just kill the Hive. Kill the Hive and you can expand here. He doesn't want to harm the poor innocent defenseless Zergs with no units. That's the problem. Why is it carriers killing Hydra seem to take forever, but killing Goliath, they kill them in 1 hit? I don't get it. But here we go. Looks like we are going to have the Corsairs coming down here to the bottom right, or bottom left even. What he should do is Disruption Web the Nidus, Disruption Web the Spores. But he's not using the Disruption Web right now. He's got his mind on other things. He's also being attacked in the bottom right-hand corner. Conan killing another carrier. This is one of the final bastions of economy for Kingdom in this game. Conan, of course, is running out of money as well. Looks like the swarm has gone down. Just disruption web the swarm. All you have to do is disruption web the swarm and the Hydras can't abuse it. But it's hard to control. It's very hard to control this army. You never get in this situation as Protoss. It would not surprise me. Oh no, losing a carrier there to a Hydra, definitely not what you want happening. But it would not surprise me if Kingdom has ever played a game like this before. You never get in this situation as Protoss. And it's because there's no other map like this. Plague is a spell that does, I think, 150 damage to everything. Well, he needs to run away from the Plague. He loses another Hydra. He loses another carrier to the Hydras. And he loses another one to the Scourge. He needs to be putting these swarms down. And look at this. Oh my goodness, another carrier gonna go down to the Scourge. Kingdom definitely been a little bit careless with his unit micro here. And Kingdom was definitely in a position to win this game, and I think he still could be. It's 19 probes against 13 drones. The Kingdom has not been as efficient with his units as he could be. Now the final one of the Niduses has gone down. There is no more Nidus on the mainland. And this is going to mean the carriers should be able to clean up the bottom left-hand corner. We've got more carriers coming in from the top. We're back up to 5 again. And Conan is going to be trapped on his single island unless he can get another Nidus up. Also, Mind Flare. Most successful viruses bring people to the brink of death, but don't kill them. As viruses evolve more, they usually get less deadly. It's because if a host dies when a virus is inside of it before it can procreate or move, essentially the virus has failed because it needs to survive, so it needs to essentially grow, and it can't grow if it kills its host. Now another 2 carriers going down. The Scourge in this game have been so strong. Hydra's running into some cannons over here and a single storm. Conan has a lot of money, but he's not got much to spend it on. He's waiting here with another Nidus to try and go somewhere with it. He's got a Nidus again in the bottom left-hand corner. By not killing all of the units, Kingdom has given Conan a way back in. Oh no, and losing another carrier, another 2 carriers to the Hydras. He needs to expand, but he's got no money for a Nexus anymore. Kingdom, I think, had this game in the bag, and he just a little bit of lack of unit micro gave Conan the win. The probe gets taken down. He was trying to mine some minerals down here. Now look at this, so many Scourge coming in. This is basically a huge bank of what Conan has left. It's mostly Scourge. Oh no, Kingdom lose a load of his Corsairs to them. Oh, Kingdom is struggling so much with his late game micro, but it's a 44-minute game. There has been a lot going on for both players. And it's tough. It's tough to play a situation like this. Now all of the drones are going to be heading down to the bottom left-hand corner. If somehow, some way, Kingdom can get units over here to kill this, he is going to be in a good spot. He is mining again from his mineral only. He's got a base up here that will not be killed, and it does still have gas at it. But he's got a big gas bank. It's minerals that kind of he's struggling with at the moment. Now I almost feel like Kingdom, if he could have expanded to this middle base before, there wasn't really much Conan could have done about it, but we do see that Conan has been seen now. Kingdom knows that this base is down there, but if he wants to kill this base, he's going to need absolutely perfect disruption web. Why on earth has Conan been building Zerglings? But he's going to need perfect disruption web, perfect carrier control. And is that something that he can do? He's up against 22 drones. The carriers moving forward on their own. They are going to not get plagued, and he does kill the Defiler. A very important moment in this game. The Ling's going to go down as well. And that could be the in that Conan needed. He's actually got High Templar down here as well. He should lead with the High Templar at least. Oh my god, here we go. He's going to be able to kill the... Oh, there goes the Swarm. Okay, you have to sit there and de-web the swarm. Oh my god, that's a nice storm. But he needs to storm against the Hydras. And he can't really rebuild his Inceptors, so he needs to be careful. The Inceptors have all gone back into the carriers, so they're going to take a long time to come back out. Are there any storms left? There is one, I think. This is not enough carriers. Looks like the Hydra is going to get killed. One of the High Templar under the swarm dies. But he needs to use his Disruption Web. Disruption Web is so important. He needs to kill the hives. We've got a lot of units getting ready to go out into the middle of the map. The base up here has been taken down, so Kingdom is no longer mining. Looks like some Hydra is going to be able to go down to the bottom right. We've got a shuttle going back home to pick up a probe to expand onto the island. And this game is still going 46 minutes in. Looks like we could be heading in to one of the longest games of STPL history. We've got Hydras blocking the base down here. But Kingdom, just kill the hive and expand here. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, he's going to expand into the middle. This is a double base. The probes are actually going to give themselves away here by long distance mining. He just needs Disruption Web. If he just uses Disruption Web, that's all he needs. He's got so much energy. And if he uses Swarm, it's going to affect the... I think it affects the Inceptors as well. But look at this. A single Swarm. Suddenly the carriers can't attack anymore. Now that's a nice Storm. That is going to kill most of the Hydras. But just Swarm the Hydras. Storm the... Disruption Web the Hydras. Disruption Web the Hydras and they can't fire. He kills another hatchery attempt. But the units are still alive over here. Just Swarm, Disruption Web the Hydras and kill them. They cannot fire back. But looks like the 3 carriers. This carrier has 25 kills, 16. And how many kills? 14 on the other one. These are definitely veterans of Ire. Trying to kill the gas because he knows his opponent should be getting pretty gas starved here. Lots of Scourge though. And with lots of Scourge, that comes a lot of pain. Because the carriers are about to get taken out, I think. If he does not control this properly, the Nexus has seen... Finally! We have the carriers coming in, but this is the worst time. They need to be focused on the Scourge if he wants to save his carriers. And look at this, the Corsairs trying to get into a position. The carriers all go down. There's nothing that can kill the base in the bottom left now. And there is nothing that can attack ground whatsoever. And Scourge with great... Well, Zerg with great Scourge control is going to stop Kingdom from ever being able to take this base. A single Overlord with 4 Hydras is going to put the nail in the coffin here for Kingdom. He's fought valiantly, but unfortunately for Kingdom, he just didn't control his carriers well enough. And the Zerg will be the winner here at the end of the day, I think. We've got some units heading on over here. He does have some Storm left in the pot here, but if he loses his shuttle, he's got no way of building another one. He can't lose the shuttle. He does get a probe out. A nice Storm. But that misses. The Nexus is about to go down, and with that, so does Kingdom. GG. Kingdom taps out, and Conan takes a 49-minute, 28-second game. And if I check that, that has actually made it into our top 5 of the longest games in STPL history. Really sick game. Definitely didn't think that went the way I thought it would go. I thought the person on the mainland would have a massive advantage against the Zerg on the island. But it looks like with good Scourge control, with good Nidus usage, and maybe with a little bit of misplay by the Protoss, Zerg can definitely win a late game on that map, so there we go. Let's get back after a short break with game number 2. I can't believe that's still in the game number 1. I'll see you guys I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 2. We just had an insanely long game number 1. It was 50 minutes almost, which puts it in second place for our top 5 games of all time of STPL. Admittedly, I didn't think I saw the game ending the way it did, but Kingdom found himself being starved by Conan, who was using constant niduses everywhere to really keep him on his toes. We're going to be heading in to a PvZ, but it's going to show us a PvP. So I'm going to need to quickly reload the overlay. So I'll be back in just a second. I completely forgot to do that. Just bear with me one moment, guys. I'll see you in a second. I'm not going to play this one again either. We just watched that. Okay guys, welcome back. We are going into our second game here. It's Sandara versus Dragon. Sorry about that, I had to reload the overlay so Dragon's race would show differently. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand corner in the green, fighting for NaS. It's their captain. They're currently down 1-0 after Kingdom lost a grueling game on Rosen Bridge. But he is going to be up against our yellow player in the top right-hand corner. Going to be 4DM. It's Sandara. Sandara very close to Castamuse. Castamuse being very violent in chat, saying he's going to rip off. He's going to rip off Sandara's neck if he loses this game. Wait. Castamuse, you've been spending way too much time with, like, Big Fan. You've got so violent. Okay, so this is going to be a ZVP. Dragon is a pretty good player at ZVP. If you look at the all-time top streak of Zerg versus Protoss, Dragon is number 1 with 12-0 against Protoss. Now, as far as I'm aware, that's not ongoing. Yeah, it's definitely not ongoing because he's not in the current top streak, but it's ridiculous that he won that many games against Protoss in a row. But there's a damn good reason. He is an incredibly good Protoss player. He's very good at PvZ. And he is very, very, very good in CVP as well. He plays usually very straight up. There's nothing too crazy about his play. He plays very standard. I suppose that means the same thing. And he often just macros up a storm, so let's see how he's going to do against one of DM's newbies here. DM have actually added another player today. I don't know if he's one of your friends, Castamuse, but essentially they've added a player called... who is it? They've added a player called DY. Dragon's TvP record before he got his first loss was 12-0. Well, that was a streak anyway. I don't know about when he got his first loss. Okay, we've got 3 hatch before Pool here coming in for Dragon. Very risky play, but knowing his opponent went for a Forge Fast Expand, he knows he can abuse this. Now, obviously, we could see Sandara going for some kind of cannon rush, but Castamuse Albert is asking if DY is known as Disney. Okay, so I wonder where Dragon's going to go from here. I don't think he's going to go all in. That's not really something we see very often from Dragon. But then again, it's a new map. It's Desert Dwellers, made by Minerals. The last map was made by Gosomi. If you didn't know that, he is one of the up-and-coming Korean map makers. Minerals, formerly known as Mellow, has been making a lot of good maps recently as well. Blindside, another one of his maps that we saw last week. But this is a good 2-player map. It's very difficult for Protoss to attack Zerg late game, especially when they get a lot of lurkers. Which makes me wonder if Dragon will go for an attack or if he's going to play it safe. Looks like he's going to play it safe going into his lair. Shouldn't surprise me to see a 4th and 5th hatchery coming up very quickly here from Dragon. And I mean, Sandara is kind of just back at home playing very conservatively himself. Cybercore coming up, going to go into a Stargate after this most likely. Already on the 2 bases. There we go. Now, one of the other players who's recently signed up to the STPL, and it's really funny because he was in the STPL before, and he's saying it's not this player, but I don't believe him. Someone has signed up to Ash. They've joined Ash, which is really cool. Who did they add? What was the name of the player? It's someone called R1. Now, when R1 introduced himself to hit him up, he, R1 said he was Shiny's friend. But the account name he plays under is Shiny, so I get the feeling it's just Shiny trying to smurf again for some reason. Like, he played in the Clash for Char tournaments as Money King. It was like he kept winning them as well, so it was like Money King and he kept winning the money, which was kind of funny, but yeah, but Medino, you caught me at the worst possible time. I was just talking about other players that have signed up to the STPL recently. End of day saying I confirm it's not Shiny. He's a low A ranked Terran player apparently. Okay. But in terms of this game, we've got Sandara still sat on his 2 bases. Third gateway being added. We've got the Citadel up. We should have the Templar Archives coming in here soon as well. With only 1 cannon, this is playing a little bit risky because for the first time I think I've ever seen Dragon do this, he's actually going for a 3-base Hydra Bust. Dragon never plays like this, or maybe he does and it's been so long since I've seen him play that I've not seen it. But there we go, so we do have the Hydras coming in. There's only a single cannon back here. This is not looking good for our Protoss player. Dragon definitely trying to abuse the fact the wall is quite far out here. There's not much space for cannons either. But Sandara is playing this very greedily. Sticking with just 2 cannons? You need more cannons than this. He's worried he's going to overcommit to cannons, but if you lose your gateway and your forge, that's it. Like, that is game over. +1 attack is done. +1 armor is coming in. So not going for +2 attack straight away because there's no Templar Archives. Now, the Zealots are going to try and move out and buy some time. But I don't think this is going to work. He's just going to lose his Zealots here. Dragon moving his Hydras back pretty well, not losing too many of them. And all of a sudden, there is a ton of Hydras and barely any of anything else. Now, we do have a Corsair heading over to the main. Will scout more. Hydras leaving, no Spire. And I think this game is pretty much done. Now, he does have the Overlords coming in. There's actually drop coming in as well. So this is going to be a drop play coming in from Dragon. He's going to elevate her into the main. And all of these cannons that Sandara was worried about building, he's going to have been right to worry, because all of a sudden he is not going to have anything in his main to defend it. So we have 4 gateways coming up in the main now. 3 of them are obviously finished. Templar Archives coming in. A single cannon in the main base is not going to do anything here. But Dragon does not normally play like this. Like in the STPL, I can't think of a single time he's done something like this either. Now, Sandara adding another gateway. He should know that something weird is going on, given the fact he's seen so many Overlords. And they do have Overlord speed. I mean, obviously he could just be defending his Overlords, but... like, look at this. Sandara not going to see the Overlords again, but surely he should know something's up. We've got Lurkers being built at the front, which should defend from any counters. More Hydras running along, another Overlord running along as well, and this is the big drop. Let's have a look. He's at 60 supply at the start of this drop. Let's see how it goes at the end of it. We don't have a Maelstrom here to save Sandara. It's not like when DeWalt saved himself. Now here we go, big drop into the main. A single cannon is not going to be enough to hold on to this. He's going to drop into the mineral line as well, and that means the poor Zealots are not going to be able to get into a position to defend this, and I think this could very well be checkmate. Lurkers on top of the gateways, Hydras on top of the minerals, and absolutely no recourse for a way back into this game for Sandara. He's going to try and push out the front, try and expand at another base. He is going to be able to defend his natural at the very least, but he's going to lose all of his gateways. He's losing his tech. He's going to lose absolutely everything. Some of the Overlords do go down, but if he can stop Storm from being finished, there is going to be absolutely no way back. But Dragon's not even microing his Hydras. He's just letting them kill whatever they want to kill. He's killing the pylon, I guess, which achieves the same goal. But 66 supply after all of that. Looks like we do have a big counter coming in. He's going to try and go into the main with his units. See if he can get one of the bases in the back. Lurker coming in here, going to eat up a few of the Zealots, because they don't actually go in to attack at all. And I mean, there's a few Zealots in the mineral line here, but it doesn't really matter. 23 drones for Dragon. The main base is absolutely annihilated here by Dragon. There's no base at all, really, for Sandara anymore. He's going to try and build some more cannons here. Try and hold on to his natural. Cannons are obviously very strong, but with no way of killing the Lurkers, there's nothing you can do. GG. Sandara taps out and Dragon wins game number 2. Okay, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. It won't be long for game number 3. See you guys soon. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 3. It's DM versus NaS. We've got dsaqwe versus Whip coming up at TvP on Neo Moon Glaive. Let's get into it. Okay, starting us off down here in the bottom left-hand position in the green, fighting for DM, sorry. No, it is fighting for NaS. It's dsaqwe, our Croatian Protoss player. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the yellow, fighting for DM. It's Whip, our Canadian Terran player. Man, that first game has really tired me out. That was such a long game. I'm so glad I picked this series to cast today, because if I casted a 50-minute game and then did 2 other full series, that would be rough. Like, I don't think my voice could handle that. So I definitely picked the right series this week to cast on its own. Still, I'm grateful for you guys all for tuning in. Castamuse going on about how he's going to kick Sandara's ass for losing. I feel so bad. Castamuse has got so violent. He spent too long hanging around with, like, non-Koreans. Especially the Americans in the Brood War staff Discord. Castamuse is upset that Sandara has lost 3 times. That's a little bit rough. Now, the important thing about the last game is, of course, it did mean we go 1-1. In the series rather than it being 2-0, which means we have more of a chance of getting to an ace match, which is always good. Dragon definitely getting his team on the scoreboard there, as he very well often has done in the past. Now, dsaqwe is going to be playing like the dishonorable Protoss player that most of them are, and going to be going for a forward gateway here. Now, this is very nice SimCity by Whip. He can actually build his depot here, and there's no way the Zealots can get in. So that's a very, very nice SimCity here. But it's so annoying to watch this. A single probe is so annoying to deal with. Like, and I know I've spent a long time not playing, but I actually played again at the weekend, right? I actually played Brood War. I played all my CPL games. I went 2 for 1 somehow, despite not playing in like 8 months. And, yeah. I know how annoying that is now, because he's building this in the wrong place. You need to build it back one. If you build it on the mineral, then it's a proper block, whereas now it isn't a proper block even. Yeah, look at this. The Zealot just gonna run around and attack the Marine. Oh my god. It's so frustrating. Zealots are so good. Ah! It gets in the main as well, but it's heavily damaged, so it shouldn't do too much damage. Here we go, we've got another Zealot coming in the middle of the map. We've got the Protoss player continuing the cheese. The cheese never ends. I want to get off Mr. Cheesy's wild ride. There's going to be I'm going to say due to the position, it's probably going to be a proxy Citadel. We'll have to come back and check that in just a minute. dsaqwe got a second Zealot out here. The Zealot in the main is still alive. It killed one of the Marines. The second Marine very close to death. Oh no! The Zealot kills the second Marine. And the second Zealot is going to get in the main base. And there we go. Proxy Citadel. Proxy Citadel. It just keeps on getting worse. These Protoss players, man, they just keep making the situation worse for themselves. Like, I swear, like, people are like, not all Protoss cheese all the time, and then you watch a Protoss player and it's like, what are you doing? Oh no. Oh no, Whip loses his Marine. He's too busy microing against the Zealot in his main base. Oh no, he's lifting up his factory as well. That is incredibly lucky that he was able to land that. We've got a proxy gateway coming up here as well. Proxy double gateway. Well, sorry, no, proxy gateway and a Templar archives as well. I mean, this is as all in as you can get for dsaqwe. He's on 18 probes. I think he's stopped probe production. Yeah, he has. He is hoping to win with this. He started probe production again, now he's got all his tech up, but we do have a couple of SCVs coming out. This will help him defend, but the problem is going to be, how can that Dragoon attack when there's an SCV sat on top of it? How is that fair? No, I don't mind. He does need to repair these SCVs, so he needs mines badly. He's not going for mines. The Templar Archives is done. The first DT is on the way. Second gateway is on the way because one gate isn't enough. And a starport is coming in before an academy. There is absolutely no detection here. And a single DT is about to end the game. We haven't had a 6-minute curse game for a while. But I think this is going to be the one. There's no mines. There's absolutely no way of defending this. A single DT is going to ruin his day. I mean, he could lift his command center and try and fly it somewhere else. He's going to run out here feeling really good. He's like, yeah, I killed all the units. I'm the best. And then a single man in a cape is going to run in here and completely destroy everything. If he can build a depot here, if he can build the depot, he's going to stop the DT. But he's not going to build the depot. He builds it, but a little bit too late. But it is going to buy some time. Is it enough? dsaqwe is going to ignore it and just go back to kill the units. Oh no, here we go. He's going to come back and kill it now. Now, we do have Whip trying to come in, trying to kill the buildings out here. But there's already a DT back at home. Oh no. We've got mines coming in, but he only has a single vulture. An engineering bay is being panically made at the back. More DTs are going to be running in. The units at the front have been killed. 4 kills on this DT. A single marine survives the onslaught. But the only vulture that could have defended is away from home now. Now he is going to be able to lay some mines to stop any more DTs coming from the main. But little does he know, there is currently DTs coming from the middle of the map. And this could be ripe. This game looks ripe for a big mine drag into the SCVs. I'm not going to lie. Now, the poor... Wow, wait, what? There we go, GG. Whip taps out. dsaqwe takes a quick game number 3. And we'll see you guys in just a sec for game number 4. Oops. That's not what we want. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 4. It's going to be a PvZ, another PvZ, third PvZ of the series so far, but at least we didn't get any PvPs. It's going to be on Paradise. It's Pre versus StRyKeR. Let's get into it. Okay, starting us out here in the top left-hand corner, fighting for DM, fighting for their life in the series. It's Pre from Chile. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner, fighting for NaS on match point. It's in the magenta, as our Zerg player from the USA, it's StRyKeR. Also, Castamuse, unfortunately, I only own Puyo Puyo Tetris 1 and 2 on the Switch. So, if you want to play with me, you may need to play on Switch if you've got it. 2 just came out. 2 just came out, so it's well worth buying if you've got a Switch. It's really, really good. Well worth buying. Bought it on release day. I could have bought Cyberpunk or Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, and I bought Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 because I'm a real gamer. Also, I kind of heard about all the bugs in Cyberpunk and it scared me. I'm gonna wait until it gets patched. Yeah, there's no crossplay in it for some reason, but it's to do... Oh, thank you for the 100 bits, Zar. Yeah, it's to do with the weird Tetris license. Basically, the Tetris license means you can't have crossplay. It's really dumb. The Tetris company are really crazy. Castamuse is saying he doesn't have a Switch. Damn, man. It's rough. Maybe if Puyo Puyo Tetris 1 goes really cheap in the sale, I'll buy it. I will be getting Tetris Effect on PC eventually when it comes out with a connected update. So we can always play that if you buy that as well. I'll be playing that in VR though. That should be really good. Okay, so we've got a pool first coming in. It is going to be an overpool. The second Overlord is, of course, already out. StRyKeR getting ready to expand with his 11th drone. So it's going to be a 9 pool, 11 hatch. We have seen a good number of Zerg all-ins on this map. Castamuse is saying he's a Gosu Puyo Puyo player. I'm not, so I'm definitely better at Tetris and I'm bad at Tetris as well. I just love both of the games, so buying Puyo Puyo Tetris was a no-brainer. Okay, so we've got a gate expand coming in here from Prey. The first Zealot is out on the map. Going to be dealing with some of these Lings, but the Lings are going to get past. And this isn't looking good. If Lings get into your main base this early, it can be very dangerous. That is not a tight wall. Now, it looks like the 5 Lings gonna head into the mineral line, gonna do some damage. This is definitely what StRyKeR needs if he wants to get ahead in this game. One of the Zerglings do get caught off by the probes, but the probes unfortunately cannot kill it. Pre is definitely one of the more interesting players in the STPL when it comes to how he plays things, but I don't think he's going to be able to get to a position he wants to be in here. Now, he is going to take the base behind the minerals. It does take a little bit to kill that, so he's not going to be able to get any Hydras out from this base, but it will give him an easy third to hold. Especially against Protoss, because they didn't build any ranged units early on. Now there's a Forge. Pre does have an expansion up here, but he's forced to build a cannon in his main base. There's no cannon over here at the natural. Ling speed is not yet done, but it will be soon, 2/3 of the way through. Two of the Lings have finally been killed. Nice Zealot micro here by Pre so far. And Castamuse keeps talking about his friend he added to Soul, but he's not actually saying who it is. You should say who it is. I'm excited about having him play in the STPL, let's just say that. I don't want to ruin the surprise. I'll either let Castamuse do it, but I think this game may be over. StRyKeR is going to send a load of Lings into the main base. Ling speed is done. There is absolutely no wall. Yeah, I think this is looking a little bit rough. The Nexus of the Natural is going to go down. The Pylon is going to go down. So no Cybercore, no Forge, and no Gateway is powered. We've got a Citadel coming up in the main base, a Cannon coming up in the main base, and a Gateway coming up. Yeah, see who it is, custom use is fine. Yeah, but I think this game may be over. Unfortunately for DM, looks like Pre cannot... Well, DM cannot replicate the success Ash had against NaS last week. And they will be losing to them, continuing their losing streak, unfortunately. But Pre is going to be able to defend the bottomless ramp, at least for the time being. It is just Lings coming in. The Gateway and the Forge have been left alive, so if he can repower them, he'll be okay. And he can still, of course, build cannons, which is super cool. But without a gas, could be a little bit difficult to make use of those Templar archives here. That's a little bit rough. Oh my goodness, pylon being added up here. He's about to lose his gas though, and he doesn't have any units that actually go and deal with this. Back at home, there's absolutely nothing that StRyKeR has to worry about. He is going into a lair, so he's transitioning out of this Ling all in. Pre does skip a probe behind the minerals, which means he is going to be able to expand quite safely. This gateway is going to go down. Third base is up and running. Pre is going to stay in, because if there's one player in the STPL that likes to stay in games because you're never sure what's going to happen, it is Pre. So Pre is going to stay on one base. He's going to go for double DT and see if he can get back in the game that way. Now there are a lot of Hydras and there's an Overlord defending this as well. But if he can somehow skip the DT over the minerals, if he sends a probe out with these, maybe he can make a miracle happen. He's not quite DeWalt, he's not quite the Miracle Toss, but it's not the end of the world. Now it looks like the probe is going to come out from behind the minerals. The Overlord is going to see this, but as you can see, the Zerglings cannot get over there for the time being. Looks like he... Oh my god, he's going to do it. He's sending the probe to glitch the units through. Free as a boss. Is he going to make it work though? It's so hard to actually do this. The first DT is not going to go in at the front. It cannot do anything. But here we go. He's getting ready to try and glitch it over. There's no way for the Zerg... Oh, wait. He actually killed this. So he is going to be able to go back and defend this. It's tough to do this as well. It's not easy. But he's going to give it a try. It's so hard to do this. Nope. Close. Oh, no. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to break through. I don't want to look away in case he gets it on the one time I look away. But let's see if he gets through. Nope. I think the DT is getting confused because it wants to attack and it can't. And oh, no. Well, there goes the probe. So this isn't going to work anymore. He tried. He tried. It looks like a single Zerlet going to run out here. See what it can do. There is a DT in the natural. It doesn't kill anything though. Oh my god. It doesn't even get to attack once. The drones are just like, no. It's like, no, you're not allowed to do it. And also, lucky noob, I don't want to make it any easier for Protoss, man. Asuka saw me, but they don't need any easy way of getting a probe over to the back. You would just get cannon rushed like every single game. Every game will be a cannon rush. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah, but it looks like there's a lot of Hydras here. Hydra's stopping the mining of the minerals here, but he does have the gas. But I don't think he can survive. I think this game is done. I think this game was done about 5 minutes ago, but Pre staying in. He wants to keep his dream alive in the way. He wants to keep his team's dream alive in the series. Here we go. He does have a storm. He's got one storm and a dream. And that storm is a good one. He does get a lot of damage on the units. He does get a lot of damage overall. yeah, there we go. I mean, this is a lot of units. He's got more and more units coming in. StRyKeR is in an incredibly strong position. 40 drones against 23 probes. He's got a lot of Hydras. He's got his lair. He's got his 5th, 6th hatchery, and he's going into a 7th. I think that's his 7th here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, what? 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah, 6. So he's on 6. But this is a problem. There's an Archon coming in here. There we go. GG. Pre-taps out, and StRyKeR takes the game and takes the series 4-0 for NaS. Not 4-0, 3-1. 3-1. Okay, so there we have it. That is going to be the end of our series today. It still ended up being quite a long stream, despite only having one series due to the 49-minute game in game number 1. Conan beat Kingdom on Rosen Bridge in a really cool ZVP. Dragon took down Sandara on Desert Dwellers with a really nice ZVP. Whip took down dsaqwe in a nice... dsaqwe took down Whip in a nice PvT. And then another Protoss lost to another Zerg in another ZVP on Paradise, where Pre got Lingalwind. So there we go. But yeah, NaS have got a nice win there. They definitely needed that after their loss to Ashe. DM are going to be suffering a little bit because I think they really wanted to. I mean, everyone wants to win every series, but they're kind of in a position where they do need to win a few series soon. Otherwise, they definitely won't be making it into the playoffs. But DM, much like Sai, I think they've signed up every time because they enjoy playing. They may not come near the top of the table. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. And they don't mind. It's all good. But that is going to be the end of our series. A massive thank you to our sponsors, Esport Fund. Now, I don't have my camera running, like my VR camera thing, and the score form is not up to date. But either way, essentially, thank you to our sponsors, Esport Fund. Thank you to our patrons, our subscribers, and of course, the players, the captains, who without we wouldn't have a tournament to begin with. And of course, all you wonderful people for tuning in and viewing as well. So once again, thanks to everyone. And I will be back on Friday. We're going to have Net Wars versus Seoul and IRK versus Wiko. That should be amazing. Net Wars versus Seoul, we've got Tarson versus Shine in a TVZ. Yeti versus Scan in a PvT. Zero versus Spire in a ZVZ. And Koga versus Hero in a TVT. And then we've got Vodi versus Mutali on a TVZ. We've got a PvP between G5 and Haya. We've got a PvZ between DeWalt and Swan. And we've got a ZVP between Kame and Bypass. So we have a good amount of matchups. I think we've actually got one. Yeah, we've got one of every single matchup on Friday. Two of the best foreign teams against the 2 Korean teams in the STPL. And I will see you guys next time. If you're watching this, you're watching the STPL. Hopefully, you've been enjoying what you've seen so far. If you want to help me make more STPL content to bring more tournaments to you, please support us on Patreon, which you can find up here. And also, there's so many different things you can get through Patreon. One of the main and one of the easiest ones to get is, of course, access to all of the replays of the STPL so far. We've had some amazing games, such as some of the games you can see just over here.
Power!